In this documentary I'm going to be talking about the evolution of Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse was created in 1928 due to Walt needing a new character as he got cut from the production of his first character called Oswald. Then on the train ride home he came up with a new idea for a character which was Mortimer Mouse, which later became Mickey Mouse.
I was in New York at the time. I'd been producing a series of pictures for a company there. They were about a rabbit called Oswald. But I lost that. They took it away from me, so I was all alone and had nothing. And Mrs. Disney and I were coming back from New York on the train, and I had to have something. I said, by the time I get to Hollywood, I must have something to, I can't tell them I've lost Oswald. So I had this mouse in the back of my head, because a mouse is a sort of a sympathetic character, in spite of the fact that everybody's frightened of a mouse, including myself.
The original design of Mickey was seen in Plain Crazy in 1928, which was the first Mickey short made, but it was the fourth to be released. This Mickey only wore shorts and his eyes took up most of his face. He also didn't have his iconic gloves on. The first Mickey cartoon release was Steamboat Willie, and Mickey's eyes were small black ovals. This cartoon was also the first fully synchronized sound cartoon to be made, and Walt's first role as Mickey. Next came Galloping Gaucho in 1928, and Mickey was presented to be wearing shoes and big eyes again. Then came the Opry House in 1928. Mickey appeared with white gloves on to make his hands more distinguished. Then in the Carnival Kid, Mickey's eyes were drawn as pie eyes and he had eyebrows. And we heard him speak for the first time. The first spoken words were,
"Hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog."
In 1932 came out The Wayward Canary, and Mickey was changed again. His eyes went back to being black ovals instead of pie eyes, and he lost his eye. In 1935, Mickey was presented in full colour for the first time in the short The Band Concert. But he wasn't shown in his usual outfit in colour yet. That came in another short, as he was first shown in a band outfit. In the short Mickey's Garden, his usual outfit was featured in full colour for the first time, but his gloves were a beige colour to start with. In 1936 came out Mickey's Grand Opera, and his gloves were shown to be white. In 1937 came out Lonesome Ghost, and in this Mickey's face started to change and become a more pinkish tone instead of being plain white. In 1939 came the most extreme changes to Mickey, which were presented in Mickey's Surprise Party short, which was the first animated short to feature Fred Moore's new design for Mickey. The changes made were his eyes not being black ovals anymore, and instead being white ovals with black pupils, and his face had a more vibrant pink colour to it.
Emotions.
I think maybe the biggest single contribution was the redesign of Mickey, and Mickey went from that sort of pipe stem arms and legs to that very elegant curved Mickey that's been Mickey ever since.
I'll be seeing you. I hope.
In 1940 came Tugboat Mickey. His shoes changed from a yellow colour to a brown colour. He also appeared in his first feature film, Fantasia, as the Sorcerer's Apprentice. Then in 1941 came out the Nifty 90s. Mickey got ears that worked in perspective instead of them not changing. In 1940 came Pluto and the Armadillo. Mickey had his last appearance in his traditional red shorts. He also got his round ears back. In 1947 came out Fun and Fancy Free, and he appeared in Mickey and the Beanstalk. This was also Jimmy McDonald's first role as Mickey, where he filled in for parts not voiced by Walt. Also, Mickey's Delayed Date came out, and this was Walt's last role as Mickey. In 1953 came out The Simple Things, the last regular Mickey cartoon. Mickey was also shown to have a more angular stylized design and also got eyebrows again. Mickey came back in 1983 in Mickey's Christmas Carol, and he came back with his appearance being altered again. The changes this time were his eyebrows being removed and his drawing style went back to the 1940s style. In 1995 in Runaway Brain, Mickey changed back to his original red shorts and yellow shoes, but his buttons changed from white to yellow, but they changed back to being white in 1999 in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. In 2001 came Mickey's Magical Christmas, and then in 2004 came Mickey, Donald and Goofy, the Three Musketeers. In 2006 to 2016 came Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, a new series of Mickey Mouse, where you can see a more simpler colour scheme presented and a more animated look, and that the colour scheme of Mickey stayed the same. And then in 2017 to 2021 came Mickey Mouse Mixed Up Adventures, which is another Mickey Mouse series. And you can see Mickey hasn't changed a lot, but the buttons on his shorts are presented more of a white rather than the same white as his gloves. Another change you can notice is that the black lines on Mickey's gloves are now a grey colour. In 2021 came Mickey's Tale of Two Witches, and no changes were made apart from giving him a different outfit. In 2021 to 2022 came the Mickey Mouse Funhouse, and Mickey has now got a more pink shade for his face and the buttons on his shorts are a white colour again.
Question 1. In your opinion, how has Mickey Mouse evolved and was it for the better? I think his evolution's kind of reached a point now where it's a little bit stagnant almost. There's not been a lot of kind of update to the character in quite a while. I know he's one of the most valuable IP that Disney holds, and he's still kind of their flagship character. But from my recollection, he's not changed a lot in recent years. If you go back and look at him from early years, obviously there's a movement from black and white to colour, and there's also the legacy of like the rubber hose animation where characters bounce around on screen even when they're standing still. That was gradually phased out as well. And ink technology, and particularly digital inking, moved on, made him a lot more crisp. But other than that, I don't know that he's evolved that much. If anything, he's one of the characters who's managed to avoid evolving too much over time. Question 2. How does the change of Mickey Mouse make you feel? Honestly, it's not a character I've got any real attachment to. I guess I've always seen him as being a character that's more about the branding and the marketing of Disney as a company than as an individual character. And I think that's because by the time I was old enough to remember Mickey Mouse, places like Disney World already existed. There's not been a point in my history, in my past, where he was just an animated character. Maybe that says something to the utility of him, is that now he's seen more as a brand icon rather than the original animated character that he set out to be. Question 3. What would you like to see in the next Mickey Mouse? I think I'd like to see an exploration of the older style again, going right back to the early days of that kind of rubber hose Fleischer styling. If you look at a game like Cuphead that was out a couple of years ago, I think there's a real flavour to that era, and there's a real warmth of reception from the audience. I think to go back and explore some of the legacy stuff of when Mickey Mouse was just a cartoon character in his own right, that'd be really interesting to see. And the final question, how has technology changed the appearance of Mickey Mouse? He's got smoother, he's got better drawn, they've used a variety of ink technologies over the years to apply things like solid object drawing, so he's got more kind of roundness to him in terms of his shading. If we come right forward in the last few years, Disney made a series of shorts with him, weirdly enough using Adobe Animate, where he kind of started to look a little bit vectory. That didn't work too well for me. That reminded me a little bit of when Chuck Jones took over doing the traditional Tom and Jerry stuff, and the style didn't work. So the technology has changed him over the years, but again, as I said in my previous question, I think I prefer to see them go back to a much more original, grounded style of the character, and just explore that flavour again.
Here is what I think the next Mickey Mouse could look like. I've designed this using Animate and used the paintbrush tool to design him. I've also used my research to put together what could be Mickey's next changes. For this Mickey design, I've kept his iconic colours but played around with the shades a little more and added a bit more detail to him to make him less 2D and simple. Overall, we can see that Mickey Mouse has changed from his beginning design to now, and the changes made are quite significant to his final look. In my opinion, I think that Mickey Mouse changed for the better, although his final few looks are rather simplistic, and I think that they could add more detail and make the character look less 2D.